All live, local, and in studio with you this morning. 855-835-8500, 855-835-8500, or online at coveryourassets21.com. So we talked a little bit about what everybody does here in our intro segment today, and we've got a special guest today, Todd.
Well, Jesse is the warrior that we use to ensure that a bank actually complies with their obligation to the homeowner. Jesse is a guy who, I love saying this, loves to go to court, which hopefully can put the fear into the mortgage companies when all else fails and no one else is able to get any traction. And it is so wonderful to have someone in your back pocket to know that when things go nowhere and you're not getting the response that you're looking for with the mortgage company, you have the ultimate velvet hammer, we'll call it, that we can actually get things done. And Jesse's all about getting things done.
So what does it look like when it gets to you, Jesse? Because we're talking about things like loan modifications, lots of terms that are in the news a lot. And I think a lot of humans don't believe that this stuff really is possible or exists.
Well, a lot of people try to do it on their own. So they know that it exists. They just think that they call their lender, they call their servicer, and it's going to happen. If they let the servicer know that I'm thinking that I won't be able to make my payment or I'm a few payments behind, they're magically going to turn around and say, well, let's modify the loan. Well, it never happens. It never happens. The lender always says, well, I'll send you a bunch of stuff. You might receive it in 30 to 60 days, but by that time you're already in foreclosure because you've missed payments. So you need somebody to navigate through those dozens of representatives you're going to talk to at the same lender and get you to somebody that can make a decision and can modify your loan.
Well, the law is the single most effective tool homeowners can use to fight back against their lender or services. And unfortunately, it's the most underutilized weapon because of the conception that it's just far too expensive or I don't know who to call or whoever that is. So, Kelly, what I want people to know is right now, we are local, we are live, we are in Eagan, Minnesota. You can call us at 855-835-8500 and talk to someone who currently litigates against the problems that you're having. So if you want to engage us, give us a call.
When I think about Jesse, I think about watching the news and seeing, 10,000 people in California waiting in line to get in to see their mortgage servicer and sleeping in the park to get in there. And I envision Jesse taking you by the hand and bringing you around to the back of the building and coming in directly with their attorneys who you'll never see by standing in the front of the building in line with everybody else. And all of a sudden, we're not waiting in line anymore. We're going directly head to head with the lender. And that is, if that's what you're looking to do, if you want to get action, then this is the way you go about doing it. Not everybody needs that, but a lot of people do, and it is a tremendous way to force the issue in a way that, let's get real, 99 out of 100 people will not do.
That's important. Now, why I want Jesse to explain why it's important right now to get to know a law firm in today's times and have them around in your life because things are so much different. Can you speak to that one for me?
I'm assuming you're meaning get to know the law firm on a good side, not
yeah.
not
I
on
mean,
the opposite side of the
you don't want to wait until you're in a complete panic mode to go find someone. You might want to know who down the line if you ever need help.
Timing in my business is everything. The earlier you get in, the earlier you get in to see me, the earlier you make a meeting, the earlier you talk and get all of these issues out on the table, the more likely it is that I can help you. If you're about to miss a payment, if you've lost your job but you haven't missed a payment and you just can't make this it's either the meal or the mortgage, well, it's time to see me. I need to do something. You can't do it on your own. Or if you're that person that's missed now 2 payments and you're getting angry calls and letters from your servicer or lender, again, it's time to see me. If you've received a sheriff's sale notice in your mail, it's time to see me. Those are the steps that you need to take. The earlier, the better. We can help you. That's what we do.
So, Craig and Todd, how do you uncover, what are the flags, if you will, when you talk to folks these days? When you say, oop, there's a Jesse Keyboard situation, what are you seeing there?
Well, the first thing is to determine whether or not a modification is actually something that will work. Because if in almost all cases, when Jesse does his work and goes up against the bank, in almost all cases, they're going to be offered a modification.
Absolutely.
So that's the most important thing. Having said that, if you know what the maximum modification is going to be in terms of a payment, we have to be certain that it's really going to fix their problem, and they're not just going to be, instead of 50 feet or 100 feet underwater, 50 feet underwater and still in a bad situation. So if that is in fact the case, that they want to stay in the house and they say, I'll do anything to keep the house, all right. Well, then we have to see whether or not that loan is the type of loan that actually has problems involved with it, if there's ways to get around this, if there's ways to do what needs to be done. And surprisingly, a lot of these loans that were done in the past have multitudes of violations in the way that they were originated. And Jesse and Craig as well know those violations probably better than anybody. So, Craig, I'll let you talk about how what type of loans would be privy to that type of an issue.
These socialized programs, these loan modification programs, well, as they are well intended, they simply don't get the job done. These are extend and pretend type programs where what the family doesn't know is that they're on two tracks, right, Jesse? One train track is the law firm who is representing a Fortune 100 lender who's foreclosing on your home. The other track is the letter from a case manager assigned to you by the servicer. A servicer is really nothing but a debt collection agency. So it's confusing for the family. They're getting letters of hope from one side while they're getting letters of foreclosure from the other side. And what they don't understand is one side has closed 9 million foreclosures and the other side has less than a 2% success rate, Jesse.
That's absolutely correct. And when you're getting these letters from the home retention departments or the consumer relations or customer deepening departments of whatever ABC lender you're getting, and they all have these very hypocritical names because none of them are really in the business to deepen their customer relations. When you're getting these letters, these nice letters from these people inside the lender, and then also you're getting these other letters from the servicer saying, validate this debt because we're coming after you in your home. People are very confused. They think that I'm going to ignore the servicer's letters because they don't mean anything because I'm getting my letter from my lender who says they're working it out. They're not working it out. You are on a very tight rope, a very small time frame to get something done. And the fact is, Craig, you're absolutely right. 2%. You are far more likely to get foreclosed on in that 60-day time period than you are to get a modification. It's just not going to happen if you don't have help.
So, Jesse, how is it specifically that you're able to call the banks out, so to speak? How is it that you get their attention and so successful?
I've been doing this for now several years. I have contacts in every lender, office, the president of ABC lender, the biggest lenders you can name. I have direct contacts in there. It's just based on my experience. I've dealt with these people time and time again. I don't have to wait and call the customer relations department and get. You
don't spend 4 hours in Bangalore on hold.
I don't get Jane Doe 15 different times in the representative cubicles. I don't need to deal with that. I go directly to somebody when they hire me. I give a call. I send a letter directly to the person that will negotiate a modification.
Well, it takes more than knowing the right people, right, Jesse?
Absolutely.
And the thing that I'm going to say, because I know Jesse won't, is that when you've been on the other side of the street representing the banks, and we'll not be specific on what banks,
don't talk about that.
but when you know when you've actually been on the other side and you've represented the banks and you know where the banks have deficiencies in their cases, then obviously you can uncover those deficiencies vastly more quickly because you know right where to go and where the case is weak. So that's something that Jesse has on his side, and that is an enormously powerful tool.
Yeah, that would be a definite one. So tell me kind of about Daniels and Wymore just a little bit more, Jesse. So perhaps Craig or Todd have sat down with a family and they have determined that you need to be brought in. What are the types of things that you do with families first to move them through to the other side?
Yeah, Daniels and Wymore started out as a business law firm. We represented businesses and the owners of businesses, whether it's by starting your business or drafting contracts or litigating to protect and defend your business. We've morphed that over the last couple of years because we've seen the need to help people and individuals who might not own a business to defend their homes. And that is something that I started doing about 3 years ago when somebody walked into my office and said, I need your help. And I told them, I don't know what to do on this. I've never done it on this side. I've represented banks before, but I've never gone against banks in a foreclosure defense type of litigation. But you know what? We'll help you. We'll do what we can. And it's been a heck of a journey. That first person who I helped out for free has gotten one heck of a deal.
Just a lot of people say that, hey, I signed these documents. And so what's my hook in this? I understand that there may be something wrong here, but I signed them. What's my personal liability versus all the things that they also signed that they don't know that's in the documents?
Sure. And mortgages, people have to understand that a mortgage and a promissory note is a contract. It's your obligation that sets out certain things that you need to comply with and the bank needs to comply with. That is a contract. It's your obligation. You need to pay it. The bank needs to perform on their side. You need to perform on your side. What we do is we take a look at that contract. There are very strict compliance federal and state statutes that say what that contract has to say, what they have to tell you before you enter into that contract. And if those things aren't complied with, if those terms or disclosures aren't complied with to the T, there are violations. The bank took advantage of you because not everybody knows exactly what a mortgage is supposed to be, what's supposed to be said on a truth in lending disclosure. The majority of people don't know that.
Well, the facts are that people knew a couple things. They knew what the interest rate was, and they knew what the payment was.
They supposedly knew what the interest rate was. It's not always
everything
the
else
same.
is
And they
sign
thought
here,
they knew what their
sign
payment
here.
was. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the rest of it is sign here, sign here, sign here.
Yeah, I've seen numerous people come into my office that say, I was told the interest rate would be this. On the promissory note, it's something completely different. And on the truth in lending, it's something completely different.
This is Cover Your Assets, 855-835-8500, 855-835-8500. Check us out online. It's coveryourassets21.com. Download your copy free of the Financial Crisis Bible.
AM 1280, The Patriot.
Does your business